The Great Wave is undoubtedly Hokusai's most famous work by far. The Japanese title is Kanagawa Oki Namiura, which we translate as Under the Great Wave off Kanagawa. And we're out at sea in the Pacific Ocean, looking back under this great sudden storm wave towards Mount Fuji on horizon in the distance. Hokusai has digested the lessons of European perspective that he learned in his middle years, and now he's playing with that. Mount Fuji is the highest physical feature in Japan by far, and yet Hokusai has arranged the picture so that it appears that Mount Fuji is dwarfed by the great storm wave, and the foam and the water that comes off the great wave then starts to seem like snow falling onto the peak of Mount Fuji, which famously was always snow-covered all the year round. Many people don't notice at first that there are actually boats in this picture. There are 3 of these fast delivery boats, and they've taken delivery of a catch from the fishing fleet, and they're trying to deliver it as fast as possible to the fish markets in the center of Edo. And then suddenly this freak wave has come up, and the oarsmen are all cowering down. They've obviously made the decision to go straight through the wave rather than try and escape from it. So it's a huge drama, and these are very heroic people at work. It's typical of Hokusai to focus more on the world of working people than anything else.
We have a relationship being described between a very dynamic world of water and of human endeavor dwarfed by the energies of nature. Then in the middle we have Fuji, this unmoving thing, a still center to a world of change.
These are mass-produced, maybe as many as 8,000 impressions of this design printed at the time. It's an incredibly democratic art form. He died at the end of the 4th month of his 90th year, so there's just a few months when the paintings which are signed aged 90 must have been done. And these include the sublime painting of the dragon flying into the sky around Mount Fuji and going off up into the heavens.
It's glorious.
Which is rightly regarded as one of the most sublime late Hokusai works. It's so moving because he's bringing together the imagery of such a long career.
You take one look at the painting, and what jumps out at you is this startling, almost frightful oversimplification of Mount Fuji. Then, to the top of the painting is a smudge which you induce is clouds, and then in the smudge there's some kind of a figure. But then you see it's a dragon floating up and drifting up above the mountain into the sky and disappearing. And then you think, well, son of a gun, you know, well, that's almost like an epitaph for himself. He's saying, so long, you know, enjoy my work. You know, you'll really get a lot out of these pictures if you get into it like I did.
In the little inscription that Hokusai puts next to his signature, he says, I'm aged 90. I was born in a dragon year. I'm painting this on a dragon day in my 90th year.
There's something so outstandingly dedicated about Hokusai and about his stalwart approach to what he was doing. It's sort of incomparable. I think that he was one of the great heroes. I'm crying. He never gave up. He kept experimenting. He kept doing new things. He just felt that he had a connection with life, which was precious.
He worked all his life. He had a long life. I mean, he just worked, didn't he? That's all he did. Well, that's all I do, actually, but I'm not as good as Hokusai.
If heaven will afford me 5 more years of life, then I'll manage to become a true artist.